inside Carver Arena, downtown Peoria, Illinois, where this weekend we crown a new Class A boys basketball state champion. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to March Madness here in Peoria. My name is Kurt Pegler, and we're glad you're alongside on the IHSA Basketball Network. 8 different Class A boys basketball teams from all over the state congregating in Peoria with one goal in mind, and that's to walk away with a state championship trophy. We'll have a new champion this year, Pleasant Plains, the defending champion, beaten on Tuesday in the Super Sectionals. The first of 4 state quarterfinals today at Carver Arena pits Pinckneyville against Prairie Central. And for more on the game, let's go to our sideline spot where we'll be giving you all the play-by-play. Lee Hall and Matt Taphorn.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. We've got a bad case of March Madness fever here in Peoria. We're going to try and keep it quarantined to Carver Arena, but I'm not sure if that's possible. Lee Hall, Matt Taphorn with you to bring play-by-play of Pinckneyville against Prairie Central. Matt, let's take a look at the road to Peoria first. The Pinckneyville Panthers out of Southern Illinois. Let's see how they got here. They beat Anna Jonesboro in the sectional semifinal, then beat Cairo in the sectional final, and then it was Harrisburg. They denied Harrisburg a trip to state. The 3A state football champions denied a chance to play for a state basketball championship. For the Prairie Central Hawks out of Fairbury, they beat Clinton in the sectional semi. A great game against Cissna Park, Crescent Iroquois, and then they upset Illini Central in the Super Sectional on Tuesday, 58-55 at Redbird Arena. Key players for today's ball game. First for Pinckneyville, they're a balanced team, Matt, but they're led by Tim Bowersax down low.
And Tim Bowersax at 6'5" will be one of the key players in this ball game. Not much size by either team, bunch of seniors. He averages about 16 points a game, but look at that, shooting 66%. He was 10 out of 12 in the game the other night for 24 points against Harrisburg. Also gets 5 rebounds and 2 assists. Big time player for Pinckneyville today. One of 3 Panthers in double figure scoring. For Prairie Central, it's been kind of an odd year. They've had their ups and downs. Their leading guy is Casey Hammonds, who after a 2-hour meeting with his coaches last month has really turned it on in the state playoffs. Yeah, Casey Hammonds the other night against Illini Central down at Redbird Arena just put the team on his back. Was 11 for 15 shooting for 26 points, averages 16 points for the year, shooting 52% from the field, 89% from the free throw line, and 3 rebounds. He's a kid that just does everything out there on the floor, and they're really going to rely on him today. The Hawks students were chanting, "You can't guard him," on Tuesday night, and they were right. Let's take a look at the keys to the game. First for Pinckneyville. Yeah, Pinckneyville, they need to take advantage of their size. That's one of the strengths that they have against Prairie Central. Also, they like to run the ball. They've scored more than 28 points more than the opponents this year. They want to get the ball up and down the floor. And a key factor for both these teams, but more so Pinckneyville, is control their emotions early. This is their first trip here with this group. Tom Posey's Prairie Central Hawks have the advantage of being here a year ago. He says they're a little bit more grounded this year. Let's take a look at their keys. Yeah, for them, clearly it's just the opposite of Pinckneyville. They want to control the tempo, keep the final score under 60. But they want to get off to a quick start, kind of get the emotion on their side early on because they do have that experience. And another key factor is they need to rebound against this bigger Pinckneyville team. This marks the 50th year of TV for the Illinois High School Association basketball tournament, America's original March Madness. We'll be taking a look at some of the highlights of the last 50 years when we return to Peoria for Pinckneyville against Prairie Central.
Identification. We wish to thank the Dodge Division of the Chrysler Corporation, sponsors of the Lawrence Welk Show, for relinquishing their time this evening. Be sure to see Lawrence Welk next Saturday at 8 p.m. WBKB Channel 7, Chicago.
Welcome back to Carver Arena. Pinckneyville ready to take on Prairie Central. 28-4 for the Panthers against Prairie Central, 23-7. This is Prairie Central's 4th trip to the Elite Eight. They lost in the quarterfinals last year to Bureau Valley, 69-65. They were 3rd in '89, 2nd in 1990. Pinckneyville, of course, the storied program from Pinckneyville. This is their 9th trip to the state quarterfinals. And let's take a look just exactly where they're located. Prairie Central over in the Bloomington Normal area, about 65 miles from Carver Arena, and Pinckneyville way down in the southern parts. The Power, the former Power area, and they're trying to regain some of that here this year, Matt.
Yeah, both these teams are excited to be here, as all 8 teams are here. And again, we touched on this in the open. These teams need to be getting ready to come out and play and keep their emotions under control. One of the most exciting basketball games I ever played in my career was right here in a high school game on this floor with a passing crowd. And in this situation, you want to make sure that you come out ready to play, but keep your emotions under control.
All right, I remember those games well, Pekin against Manual. This is Class A action. We're going to go to PA announcer Paul Herzog for the starting lineups and today's national anthem.
The city of Peoria, welcome to America's original March Madness. Today's Class A quarterfinal game features Pinckneyville Panthers 28-4 and the Fairbury Prairie Central Hawks 23-7. At this time, we ask you to please stand, address the flag with your hand over your heart, and remove your caps. As Andy Wallace, a student at Freeport High School, leads us in our national anthem. Quarterfinal contest. For the Panthers from Pinckneyville, 5'11" junior, number 10, Danny Seifert. 5'7" senior, number 11, Shane Hoffman. 6' junior, number 12, Jason Holden. 5'10" senior, number 24, Nolan Kellerman. 6'2" junior, number 22, Zach Campbell. Senior number 3, John Hicks. 6'2" sophomore number 42, Michael McConaughey. 6'3" senior number 44, Darren McCombs. 6'3" junior number 50, Wesley Eplin. And a 6'1" junior number 52, Jordan Sutton. Now let's meet the Hawks. Prairie Central. A 5'7" junior, number 3, Scott McGuire. 5'9" sophomore, number 11, Harry Pick. 5'10" senior, number 12, Jason Myers. A 6'3" junior, number 20, Henry Handler. 5'8" senior, number 21, Landon Young. A 5'10" sophomore, number 22, Trevin McCullough. A 5'10" sophomore, number 32, Brad Fry. A 5'7" senior, number 33, Jake McWhorter. A 6'3" junior, number 35, Brandon Doman. And a 5'9" junior, number 42, Chris Lehman. Now let's meet the starting lineup for this quarterfinal contest. And a forward for Pinckneyville, a 6'3" senior, number 54, Cody Majewski. And a forward for Prairie Central, a 5'9" senior, number 30, Nick Winiger. The other forward for the Panthers, a 6'3" senior, number 22, Haven Hicks. The other forward for the Hawks, a 6' senior, number 34, Chris Kinnett. At center for Pinckneyville, a 6'5" senior, number 33, Tim Bowersack. At center for Prairie Central, a 6'3" sophomore, number 40, C.J. Rady. At a guard for the Panthers, a 5'9" senior, number 14, Josh Fisher. And a guard for the Hawks, 6' senior, number 10, Nathan Hobb. The other guard for Pinckneyville, a 6' senior, number 20, Kyle Smith. The other guard for Prairie Central, a 6' senior, number 23, Casey Hammond. Assistant coaches for Pinckneyville, Mike Cheek, Wes Choke, Ryan Bruns. The head coach in his 26th season, all at Pinckneyville, where he's 5'70" and 207, Dick Korn. Assistant coaches for Prairie Central, Brad Crane, Alan Dunahee, Clark Chaplin, Matt Fox. The head coach in his 27th season, 10 at Prairie Central, where he's 217 and 68, Tom Posey.
Pinckneyville, 570 wins. He is 7-1 in the Elite Eight. Pinckneyville won the state championship under Dick Korn back in 1994. And they were second in 88. There's Tom Posey, 10 years at Prairie Central, 217 wins, 27 years overall. He was at Crescent Iroquois before the co-op, 565 career wins. There's our officials, Martin Flaherty, Mark Moberly, and Robin Roberts will be calling the action for us this afternoon. It's interesting, Matt, both teams kind of took different directions as far as how they got here, and then we'll take a look at the starting lineups. First for Pinckneyville, Josh Fisher, Kyle Smith, and there's the big three, Haven Hicks, Tim Bowersack, Cody Majewski, all averaging in double figure scoring. Starting lineups for the Hawks, Nathan Hobb is their point guard. He averages 12 points a game. Casey Hammond is the guy we talked about in the open, really has turned it on. Nick Winiger, Chris Kinnett, and C.J. Reedy, a sophomore. Pinckneyville's been ranked all year. They're ranked 11th. Prairie Central has really turned it on after going through a bit of a slump through the regular season. There's the ceremonial tip-off. And it goes to Prairie Central.
C.J. Reedy is going to be a big key in this game for Prairie Central. He's got to go up against a bigger front line of Pinckneyville, and only being a sophomore, he wasn't with this group last year. He's kind of the unknown factor right now. We'll see how he starts the ball game.
We're just about ready to tip off March Madness 2001. And the tip goes to Pinckneyville in the light blue. Josh Fisher with it. He's their point guard. He'll run things. Prairie Central opens in a zone.
Not a bad strategy here. Again, they want to maintain the tempo in their favor. Good over-the-top pass down low to Tim Bowersacks.
Bowersacks gets Pinckneyville on the board. He averages 15 points a game.
Interesting matchup. Bowersacks guarding Casey Hammonds out top. Put a little size on him defensively, causing him a few more problems.
Reedy couldn't gather in the pass down low. It's a turnover for Prairie Central. You talked about a good start a year ago against Bureau Valley in the quarterfinals. Prairie Central fell behind 25-11 after one quarter. They trailed by 14 at the half. They remember what that was like. They fought back but didn't have enough to come up with the win. There's Majewski. His first shot bounces off the mark. 2-0 Pinckneyville. We played almost a minute. Here's Hammond.
And again, a lot of attention there inside as he gets the ball.
And blocked that time by Bowersacks. Here come the Panthers in transition. Haven Hicks, the lefty, off the mark.
Yeah, there aren't going to be too many passes once Pinckneyville crosses half court. They really like to get it down the floor and get it up at the basket, try to outscore the other team.
No more than 5 or 6 passes, according to Dick Korn. Inside to Kinnett. Turnaround jumper is good, and the Hawks are on the board.
Nice move over the top of Majewski as he was coming over to help out defensively. Kinnett was able to get the ball up high and lay it in.
Pinckneyville breaks the pressure. And our first foul of the game will go against Prairie Central. That's Chris Kinnett.
That's one of those block charge calls that could have gone either way, and I think that time Josh Fisher, as he was driving down the lane, was able to get away with one. He'll go to line for 2 shot opportunity.
Fisher's a 5'9" senior, 75% free thrower. There's a good look at the senior. He had 10 in the super sectional win over Harrisburg. His 2 free throws are good, and it's 4-2.
Both teams in the first couple minutes of this ball game seem to have their emotions pretty well in check. Again, Pinckneyville wants to pressure Prairie Central out on the floor a little bit to get the tempo up to their favor.
Hammond not getting a lot of room once he gets the ball. Here's Hobb trying to split the double team. He's fouled. And it's going to go against number 20, Kyle Smith for Pinckneyville.
Again, Hobb will go to the free throw line, but as we've seen on several possessions already here, Pinckneyville, as you drive the lane, they've got a lot of help in there, and that time Tim Bowersacks came over. Even though Hobb was able to draw the foul, he didn't get the shot off.
Hobbs a senior. He's a 76% free thrower. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Didn't get it.
An interesting thing to note, too, for Prairie Central, they got 4 seniors in their starting lineup. These kids have been playing together for 6 years. You have 5 seniors in the starting lineup for Pinckneyville, so a lot of continuity in both of these programs.
Hobb misses both. Majewski comes away with the rebound. 4-2. We played 2 minutes. Pinckneyville likes to go inside out. That's Haven Hicks for 3.
And that's the attention that Tim Bowersacks drew inside when he got the ball. He had 2 or 3 guys on top of him. Good job, good recognition by him to get the ball back outside to Haven Hicks.
And Casey Hammond answers at the other end. Averaging 16 points a game, but he's picked that up to 20 points a game since that 2-hour chat with the coaches last month.
And that just happens to be at the same time when the regionals started, so he's really picked it up when the time really counted for this ball club.
Hobb drive. Looked like Bowersacks might have got a piece of it. Now it's Winiger for 3. It's off the mark. Hobb rebounds off the glass and good.
That was one of the things we talked about in the pregame, was the ability for Prairie Central to rebound against this team. Good job of going after the offensive boards and creating several opportunities.
Here's Fisher down the lane. Josh Fisher. He's got 4 points. Pinckneyville back out in front by 2.
Again, the opening lane that time created by the inside-out passing by Pinckneyville.
Panthers will play man-to-man just about 100% of the time. Inside Kinnett, blocked from behind by Majewski.
that help defense inside once again. That's about the third block in this ball game by Pinckneyville.
Hicks will try another three. It's off the mark. Battle for the rebound, and it'll go to Prairie Central. 4:18 left here in the first quarter. It's Pinckneyville with the 9-6 lead. This IHSA broadcast brought to you by Country Insurance. Real people, real answers, real quick, and by the Midwest Dairy Association on behalf of your local dairy farmers. Ah, the power of cheese.
Sophie, then.
Congratulations. Oh, thank you.
Jean, let's find out a little bit about you. Has this been a pretty busy weekend for you?
Oh, it certainly has, but it's been wonderful, every minute of it.
Did you have any idea when you came down to the state tournament that you would be going home as the Elite 8 Carnival Queen?
I never dreamed that it would be true. No.
You're a senior at Monmouth?
That's right.
Uh-huh. And what are your future plans, Jean?
Oh, I plan to attend McMurray College.
I believe you told me that yesterday.
Yes, I think so.
And we're back at Carver Arena in Peoria. Pinckneyville out to the 9-6 lead. We just want to make a quick correction. Casey Hammond's first basket was not a three. He had a foot on the line. It's a 2, and it's a 3-point Pinckneyville lead.
And Pinckneyville with 9 points, even though Prairie Central's playing that 2-3 zone and trying to pack it in. Pinckneyville's done a great job with that inside-out activity.
Jump ball. Good defense again by Pinckneyville inside, and it'll be Prairie Central ball on the alternating possession. It looks like the Hawks are going to have to make an adjustment. They're not going to be able to drive all the way to the basket here.
No, and again, we've talked about it. Pinckneyville, when they get inside, gets 2 or 3 guys in the ball, really surrounding it.
The steal and the shot at the other end was Bowersax. It's no good, and a foul against Hobb. Find out what's going on in the IHSA. Click on to IHSA.org. 40 million people did last year. I think I probably accounted for about half of that. That's a great website. Anything you want to know is right there. Inside, stripped by Hobb.
Good hands
And he'll
inside
pull it
that
out.
time by Hobb to strip that ball away from Majewski. Had good position inside. Was forced into a turnover.
That might look like a bad shot, but Casey Hammond can hit those.
And they really need a strong performance out of him in this ball game.
Inside look to Bowersax, off the glass and good. He averages 15 a game. And he's got 4.
Bowersax right now is just overmatching C.J. Reedy inside. We touched down it right at the tip. C.J. Reedy has not been a presence at all in this ball game. He really needs to step up.
Reedy, just a sophomore, taking on the experienced Bowersax in front line of Pinckneyville. Here's Reedy with it, nowhere to go. 3:05 left first quarter. It's a 5-point Pinckneyville lead. Hammond puts it on the floor, takes it in, and he's fouled.
So it'll be on Kyle Smith, and that'll be his second. But again, as Casey Hammonds takes the ball into the lane, he's got 3 defenders going up after the ball. Great job there by the camera crew to get that spot. And again, you got 2 or 3 guys in Majewski and Bowersax going up to try to block the shot.
90% free thrower. He's now 84 of 94 at the line this season, Casey Hammond. And there's what he's done in the playoffs since that much talked about chat with the coaching staff. Hits them both. He's got 4. And it's back to a 3-point Pinckneyville lead. They break the pressure. Back inside, that's Majewski. His first 2 today.
And just overpowering him inside. Kanate got inside and was not able to keep Majewski away from the rim.
Prairie Central will look to get it into Hammond's hands, and he likes to create one-on-one. He hasn't had much room here this afternoon. There's Hobb with it, nothing but net. He's got 4.
I was watching Bowersax that time against Hammonds. He wasn't even leaving Hammonds. No matter where the ball was, he was staying with him. And that seems to be the strategy so far in the first half by Pinckneyville.
Hammond is 6 feet, Bowersax 6'5". And a steal by Reedy. Well, he must have heard you talking about him.
I got those long arms up that time defensively, and Majewski threw it right into him.
Kinnett looks to go one-on-one. Draws the double team, and now Reedy will work with it, top of the key. Sophomore spin move. He's fouled before the shot.
Beyond the pass, that time C.J. Reedy was a little more active on the offensive end after he came up with a steal defensively. A little spin move inside. You can see the hack on the arm that time by Haven Hicks.
His first personal, third on Pinckneyville. Very Central to inbounds, lob to Hobb, and he's fouled. The lob to Hobb, I like it. Josh Fisher picks up his first personal.
Hobb's got a little size advantage there against Josh Fisher, too. Fisher's about 5'9". Hobb goes about 6 foot, so they're trying to take advantage of that 3-inch disparity there, and that time Hobb was able to get off his feet and grab the ball and go back up and draw the foul.
Hobb, 76% free thrower. Missed his first two and is on the mark there. That's the crowd from Prairie Central you got to glance at. And Hobb is pure on both of them. He's got 6, and it's back to a 1-point game. Prairie Central here after upsetting 9th-ranked CPCI in the sectional final and number 6 Illini Central in the super sectional.
You can call those an upset, but again, this is a team that was here last year, lost to one of the better teams in Bureau Valley. And it's back once again.
Haven Hicks hits his second 3 of the afternoon. He's 2 of 3 from behind the arc. Back to a 4-point Panther lead as we approach the 1-minute mark in the first quarter.
Hicks for the season is shooting about 30% from the 3-point line, but he's shown a lot of confidence here in the first half.
Reedy gets a hand on the miss by Hobb, gets it again and puts it up and good. The sophomore with his first basket on the offensive glass.
First bucket inside, too, for Prairie Central, finally getting one to go down.
Pinckneyville works the outside now against this zone. A pick for Hicks, and it's good. Haven Hicks, 3 for 4. He's got 9 points.
He's feeling it now. Good cross-court pass that time, and what a pick by Majewski right on the top defender. And that zone right now is really causing Prairie Central some problems. Right now, Pinckneyville's just able to look across it and knock down some big shots.
They didn't play much zone during the regular season. They've gone to it in the first half in the postseason. They'll probably switch man-to-man in the second half. Here's Hammond with it one-on-one. Gives it up to Hobb with 2, with 1. Hobb shot's no good. And that'll end the first quarter. Pinckneyville with a 5-point lead. Good interior offense and defense for the Panthers. 19-14. Let's go now to this local break on the IHSA network.
Well, the winner of this 56 tournament hasn't been determined yet. We still have 4 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in a close, tight ball game. 47-45, Carver over Centralia. Those are the Carver cheerleaders.
Yeah, I think they needed poodles on those skirts. Those were some happening fashions back in the 50s, and there's the uniform for the new millennium right there. The Pinckneyville cheerleaders.
Pace right now is definitely in Pinckneyville's favor. We talked about that in pregame. For Prairie Central to have a chance in this game, they need to control the pace. Right now their zone defense isn't allow them to get with the shooters or the inside game of Pinckneyville, and thus they've got 19 points in the first quarter.
Number 42 is into the ball game for Pinckneyville. That's Michael McConaughey. And now here's the three-point shot by number 12 into the ball game, Jason Howland.
C.J. Reedy did a good job of going up and grabbing that rebound, getting himself going after a slow first quarter.
They go inside. Reedy, turnaround jumper off the glass, no good.
Bowersack's out of the ball game right now, and Majewski that time was guarding Casey Hammonds on the other end of the floor.
Nice move by Majewski. He's scoring 15 points a game.
And now we got Haven Hicks and Tim Bowersack's both out of the ball game for Pinckneyville, trying to get them a blow here to start the second quarter.
It's a 7-point lead. That's the biggest of the ball game. And now a foul on Reedy's drive to the bucket will go against Pinckneyville. And here's a look at the team matchups coming into this one. And as you mentioned, Pinckneyville likes to move it up and down the floor a little bit more, and they score 9 more points a game than Prairie Central.
They're also outscoring their opponents by 28. And look at their shooting, 54%. That's a big reason why.
Prairie Central the edge in the three-point percentage, and Pinckneyville has a little bit of the reach too, as we've mentioned. Now the big guys come back in. Hicks, Kyle Smith, and Bowersack come in. And they replace Howland and McConaughey.
Good rest that time for the Pinckneyville starters. They had the break during the quarter, or between quarters, and also sat out the first minute of the second quarter, so they're primed and ready to go to start the last 7 minutes.
C.J. Reedy, the sophomore, 76% free thrower. And there's a look at Dick Korn. His team up by 6.
Dick Korn, a teammate of Doug Collins at Benton High School. Actually a year ahead of Doug Collins from Illinois State.
And Tom Posey, the Prairie Central coach, played noon ball against him at ISU in Horton Fieldhouse when he was a student there. So a couple of Collins connections. He spoke at banquet last night for the IHSA. Reedy the foul inside.
And again, that post presence by Pinckneyville inside. Bowersack's drawn a lot of attention, trying to deny him the ball inside. C.J. Reedy reached around and drew the foul. Pinckneyville have it out of bounds.
Three-point shot goes up and no good by Howland. He's a junior.
And with Majewski out of the ball game right now, C.J. Reedy's picked up a couple of rebounds here in the second quarter.
Winniger's pass inside, floats into the front row there, and it's a turnover for Prairie Central.
A little bit of frustration starting to settle in right now as they're trying to get the ball to Casey Hammonds. That time pass, trying to get the ball inside to him, sailed out of bounds.
And now Prairie Central switch to the man-to-man a quarter early. Nice penetration there, and Tim Bowersack with the bucket.
And that was created off the play by McConaughey, who really drove the lane after C.J. Reedy was out of position as he lunged for the pass coming across the top of the key.
Majewski's going to check in on the next dead ball. Here's Hammond. That one's off the mark. And good job on the offensive glass that time. Foul will go against Pinckneyville.
But Casey Hammond that time really got away with a little shoulder drop as he was trying to get himself open in the lane. At about 6 foot, he does a great job of getting the shot off. Big, strong upper body. He's got to be careful that he doesn't get called for that, because the defender that time really fell backwards trying to draw the charge.
And that's Kinnett at the line. Hurley Kinnett, 57% free thrower. And Harry Pick, number 11, in for Prairie Central. There's a good look at Kinnett, 6 foot 220.
Kinnett was also a big part of this team last year in the first round loss to Bureau Valley. Some kind of experience you just can't replace, and so far it's kept him within 6 of this ball game.
32 Brad Fry now in for Prairie Central as well. 23-17 our score. inside, and Bauer Sachs is fouled.
And Casey Hammond's trying to guard Bauer Sachs inside again. At 6 foot, 200 pounds against the 6'5" Bauer Sachs. He's got a lot of reach on him, and that time Casey Hammond was making sure he didn't get the shot off, and therefore grabbed him around the waist. Didn't want him to get free throws and the bucket.
Pinckneyville will inbound with a 6-point lead. 5:30 to play here, first half. Hammond a rebound, the whistle inside. I think it's going to go against Prairie Central, and I think it's going to be Brad Fry. It is.
Yeah, Fry that time a little too aggressive, trying to block out Tim Bauer Sachs on the play. He really got him up in the air, off his feet. The official right on top of the ball made the call.
Pinckneyville will try again. Reedy blocks the Bauer Sachs shot. And here come the Hawks. And a travel on Pick. Harry Pick, a sophomore. He doesn't play a lot. Tom Posey doesn't want him to get the ball in that situation.
Well, again, you know, the pace is very important to Prairie Central. They don't want to get into a running match with Pinckneyville. Pinckneyville can put a lot of points on the boards. They want to keep the tempo in their favor and try to get more possessions.
Long pass, Hop picks it off. Reedy will try the three. It's good. Only 1 for 10 from three-point range coming into today.
The big fella steps out and knocks down a big three. Should be a big confidence boost for him.
Pretty big shot by a sophomore in a state game. 5 minutes left. On the move, it's Pinckneyville driving the lane. No good. Here come the Hawks.
Reedy's doing it at both ends of the floor now, getting every defensive rebound and knocking down the big shots.
Fry with it, now Pick on the baseline. Hammond is 1 of 4 from the field, and he walked.
Yeah, picked up the ball a little early in that spin move and got whistled for it.
4:36 left, second quarter. 23-20 Pinckneyville, back after this network break.
Daddy, can I have some cheese?
Sure, honey.
This is my friend, Mr. Giggles. He wants a piece, too.
Mr. Giggles, huh?
Yeah, he really wants some.
Well, Mr. Giggles, why don't you go get a job so you can buy your own cheese?
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
Oh, I see you met Mr. Giggles.
Ah, the power of cheese.
Lee Hall, Matt Taphorn back in Peoria. Tale of two cities. I think I read that in high school. Prairie Central from Fairbury and Pinckneyville down in southern Illinois. Population's pretty close there. Prairie Central is the largest school with a 662 enrollment. They're out of the Corn Belt Conference. And Pinckneyville is out of the Southern Illinois River to River Conference, Mississippi Division.
The Sir Miss Div.
Yes, as we like to call it. There's an Ohio division down in that neck of the woods too.
That'd be a little easier to say.
My mother used to live in Pinckneyville, worked down there back in the good old days. Been to Pinckneyville many times. Good look at the crowd here on hand at Carver Arena. 6th year here in Peoria for March Madness.
Starters back in the ball game now for Pinckneyville with the lead cut to 3. Mayeski, who really did a lot of damage, is back in. See if he can pick up where he left off.
Bauer Sachs brings it up. And he gets it back inside from Mayeski. Nice give and go there.
Brings the ball down the floor, passes away, gets set up on the block, and knocks down the big shot. Well, Bauer Sachs has been very active in this ball game.
The thing about the Pinckneyville big guys, Matt, they played outside as sophomores and juniors, and now as seniors they've gone back inside.
Well, and that's very important. I was fortunate to kind of fall in the same situation where I grew later on, so I did play more of a perimeter role. Younger, and then when you get a little bit more size to you, you're able to play a little bit more versatile positions, and I think that's the case with Tim Bauer Sachs.
6th turnover for Prairie Central, and almost one there for Pinckneyville. Nice hustle there by Fry. Here's a history. First Prairie Central, their 6th appearance in the Elite 8, best finish second place back in 1990 under Tom Posey. And Pinckneyville, of course, they're a storied program, state titles in 48 and 94. This is their 9th trip to the Elite Eight.
Again, Pinckneyville wanted to get the shot up. That time we had Kyle Smith launching a 3, and good rebound by Casey Hammond.
Here's Reedy with it. Over Majewski, no good. Goes after the rebound, but it's brought down.
Haven
by
Hicks with the big rebound, and again, one of that powerful front line for Pinckneyville.
Majewski, 6'3" senior, working one-on-one. Kicks outside to Kyle Smith. Bounces no good, and Hammond's there for the rebound. He averages about 3 rebounds a game.
Hammond's, again, not real big at 6 foot.
Long threes off the mark. Yeah, Matt, when you look at him, he doesn't look, I mean, there's nothing there that's going to say, oh my gosh, nobody can guard him, but he has really come on in the postseason and is really an excellent one-on-one player.
Well, that's what you see out of a lot of Class A players. They may not be the best athletes on the floor, but they're great basketball players.
Bowersack's now in double digits with 10.
Bowersack's really having his way inside with C.J. Reedy. A little bit stronger inside, really wants it. The senior against the sophomore, he's got the advantage.
And Tom Posey calls a 30-second timeout. He went to state back in '77 as head coach of Crescent Iroquois. And Prairie Central, there you see it, 8-2 since February 2nd. They've won 6 in a row. February 2nd was the night of the Hawk Talk with Casey Hammond. Tom Posey and one of his assistants sat down with Casey and challenged him to step up his game. Almost too much of a team player. There you look at some of those great Pinckneyville teams under Duster Thomas.
A lot of those games were against AA teams before they went to a 2-class system.
3 straight third places back in the mid-50s. Storied program. And they're doing a good job here. They've held Prairie Central scoreless for almost the last 2.5 minutes. Hawks bring it up. It's Young. Landon Young. That's Nathan Hobbs' cousin. Gives it to Cuz. Hobbs' shot's no good. Tipped by Smith, and here comes Pinckneyville with a 7-point lead. Inside. That time Bowersack missed it. Got his own rebound. 12 points for Bowersack.
He's just having his own way inside. Really pounding the glass and getting inside. They're not really denying him the ball in close to the basket. They need to push him out of the lane and off the block. He's getting the ball too easy right now.
Hobb leans in, puts it up. He'll go to the line. And Majewski, I believe, with the foul there.
That'll just be his first foul, but Hobb being very active on the offensive end, as so far Casey Hammond's been shut down for the most part.
Hammond just 1 for 5. Hobb has 6 points. He's tied for team lead. And he struggled in here at the line, missed his first 2, now misses that one.
Frustration. I think they're pressing a little bit right now. A little uncomfortable, starting to see this game slip away a little bit.
Hobb makes the second. He's got 7. And the lead's cut to 8 with 2:05 left, first half.
Bowersack's once again bring the ball down the floor, and then he'll go get himself set inside. He's inside right now against Chris Kennett.
The drive by Fisher is up and good. He's got 6 points. He's got his average already, and it's a 10-point Pinckneyville lead.
Second bucket and the third time that Fisher's gone inside to score his points. Does a good job of penetration, and again, the attention that Bowersack is drawing is really starting to free up some of the other offensive players.
Hobb whistled for the charge, ducked his shoulder, and Fisher picks up the charge on Nathan Hobb. That's his second personal. 16th foul on the Hawks. And Tom Posey looking for answers out there.
A little bit of an Academy Award needs to be given out on that one. I think the defender really tried to draw that foul, and he actually got the vote from the official.
We'd like to thank the Academy and his parents and everyone who made it possible. Haven Hicks travels. Just the 4th turnover on Pinckneyville. 7 for Fairbury, Prairie Central.
Hicks that time after he'd hit the three-point shots in the first half or the first quarter, tried to take the ball to the bucket as he was guarded closely outside.
Dick Korn's team's best defensive scoring average, only 41 a game. And there's Young with the bucket. Landon Young the fall away.
He's right at his average. Landon Young scores 2 points a game. That time he really took it upon himself to get something going offensively for Prairie Central.
They gave that bucket on the scoreboard here to Pinckneyville. Yeah, it should read 31-23. The scoreboard here reads 33-21. Right now, Pinckneyville doesn't need the help.
They're starting to hear it. Yeah, Prairie Central certainly doesn't need their own buckets that they have to work so hard on to go to the other team. Now they've got it fixed.
Bauer Sachs at the line, just a 58% free thrower.
C.J. Reedy back in the ball game now. He's only got 1 foul, and they really need to get him in the game against Bauer Sachs, try to get him back under control.
How consistent is Tim Bauer Sachs? 24 in the super sectional final against Harrisburg, 24 in the sectional final against Cairo. Second one no good. 13 points for Bauer Sachs, 9-point Pinckneyville lead. Casey Hammond has not been able to get free, and he almost has it stolen away here. Kennett picks it up, gives to Reedy, reverse layup, high off the glass, and good for C.J. Reedy, the sophomore. He's got 8.
By Reedy that time to use the rim to his advantage. The tall defenders against for Pinckneyville have been going up and blocking quite a few shots here in the first half. He was able to use that rim to his advantage.
Pinckneyville going to hold for 1 shot as time runs out here in the second quarter. That's Howland with it. Now Hicks with 4, 3, 2, 1. They're not going to get a shot off, or will they? It's up and no good by Howland. And Pinckneyville goes to the locker room with a 7-point lead, 32-25.
And Prairie Central did a much better job there in the second quarter of getting the pace back on their side. And right now they're only down by 7.
Now let's go to Kurt Pegler. He's with Dick Korn.
All right, Lee. Dick Korn, your team has played outstanding defense here in the first half. That's really been the defense. The difference, you've really cut off the paint here.
Well, I think we can play better defensively. We've given up too many second shot opportunities and gambled a little bit and got ourselves in foul trouble. And these guys are excellent free throw shooters. We got to play better defense without fouling and not get off and try to block so many shots. Just play better position defense. But you're right, the defense has been good to us.
You've taken Casey Hammond out of the game. He's averaging 16 a game, and you've only got him at 4 here at halftime.
Well, Tim Bauer Sachs can lock people up. He's a heck of a defensive player. Got some size on him too, and that bothers a little bit. This ball game's far from over though, and we need to do a better job on the other end of executing. We got a huge size advantage. We've taken advantage of it sometimes, but we shot too many threes that shouldn't have been taken.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. All right, Dick Korn's Pinckneyville club leads. Now back to Lee Hall.
All right, Kurt Pegler. I'm with Matt Taphorn. I know you guys. Just to back up what he said, 8 for 12 at the line for Prairie Central. They are down 7 at the half. We'll be back with more from Carver Arena after this network break.
Pinckneyville leads Prairie Central 32-25. Here at halftime, we've got the state champions for 7th grade in Class A and AA. Their pom-pom squads are entertaining us. Let's take a look. Peoria JV. All right, the East Peoria Junior High JV team getting ready here for their state tomorrow. Well, let's send it to a local break with Pinckneyville ahead at halftime over Prairie Central, 32-25. Comprise. (32-25), Pinckneyville leads Prairie Central, halftime of the first Class A state quarterfinal. Let's take a look here at the other pom-pom squad, which is entertaining us, Cheer Time USA. They're a group comprised of 8 local high schools in the Peoria area. (25) Pinckneyville with the lead at halftime. Let's throw it back courtside now to Lee Hall and Matt Taphorn.
And Mrs. Matt Taphorn making a cameo appearance there. She's in charge of the cheerleaders out there doing a nice job.
Yeah, I'm sure the kids are well taken care of, even though we're both here.
Let's take a look at the first half stats, and as you might imagine, just like the scoreboard, they kind of leaned Pinckneyville's way, 32-25. Pinckneyville shooting 46%, 38% for Prairie Central. And the free throw edge is kind of keeping Prairie Central in the game. Dick Horn alluded to that they were fouling too much.
Well, they were, but the concentration is once the ball gets in the lane to really converge on it, and that's where they've created some fouls. The big difference here is they've gotten some rebounds. They've done a good job rebounding, Prairie Central has, but they've turned the ball over too many times, and they just have not gotten Casey Hammonds into the flow of the first half.
Let's take a look at the top scorers so far. Tim Bowersack's leading the way, 13 points. For Pinckneyville, Haven Hicks with 9. He's hit 3 threes. He's 3 of 4 there. And Fisher with 6 for Prairie Central. It's C.J. Reedy, the sophomore, with 8. Nathan Hobb with 7. Hammond with only 4. And he is 1 of 5 from the field. And if you look inside the numbers a little bit there, Matt, if you look at the inside game of Pinckneyville, which we've talked about all game, they're shooting 56% inside. When you look at Majewski, Bauer Sachs, and Fisher, who drove the ball and made some baskets inside.
Well, the 3 guys between Haven Hicks, Bauer Sachs, and Majewski, between those 3, they've got 26 of the 32 points. So that clearly is where their concentration is. And Bauer Sachs, the job he's done on Casey Hammond in the first half has been a big lift for them, because you got a 6'5" guy going against a 6-footer, and it's created a lot of problems for Hammond.
All right, that's our story here at halftime. Getting ready for the third quarter to begin. 32-25 our halftime score. We'll be back with more from Carver Arena right after this local break.
Back here at halftime, 32-25, Pinckneyville leading Prairie Central. Tom Posey, the Hawks head coach, joins us live here. It's been a rough first half. They've done a nice job defending you, and they've really denied Casey Hammond a lot of touches inside, it looks like.
Yeah, you know, I feel very fortunate to only be down 7 right now after the first half that we had. Bauer Sachs was really tough on us. You know, we didn't have anybody in there that could really handle him or match up with him. Our young sophomore was being taken to school there for a while, and you know, hopefully we'll come back out and play better defense on him. And then, of course, 22 hit 3 big threes for him. We were hoping that would work in our favor, and he would struggle a little bit from that 3-point line. But, you know, we were down 16 last year and came back and got the lead. So, you know, we're hoping to battle back here and get back in the ball game. And
thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Yeah, they were down by a ton last year against Bureau Valley in the first state quarterfinal game, and did, in fact, take the lead momentarily last year. Lee?
All right, Kurt, thanks a lot. Yeah, they were down 14 at halftime, so it's only half as bad here for them right now. Here's a look at the first half highlights. C.J. Reedy came up big here a couple of times.
Yeah, 8 points, but the key for him is going to be able to get it going defensively, and just as Coach Posey said, to help him out defensively against Bauer Sachs. Nathan Hobb was a big lift for them in the first half as well. You know, he finished with 7 points in the first half. But on the offensive end for Pinckneyville, it was this man right here, Tim Bauer Sachs, really doing the damage in the lane, up and around the rim. You know, with 13 points in the first half, really put the team on his shoulders. And then on the other end, Majewski done a good job as well of getting the ball inside, taking the ball up strong. He's been a big lift for them, both on the offensive and the defensive ends.
All right, that's our story. Second half action just about ready to get underway. Let's go to this local break, and we'll be right back. Lee Hall, Matt Tapmore back at Carver Arena, where March Madness is running rampant. 32-25 Pinckneyville. Prairie Central trying to get back in this one. What do they have to do to get into it?
Well, again, they need to get some screens for Casey Hammond. They haven't set many screens on Tim Bauer Sachs, and he's right now just able to guard him, face guard him all over the floor, and not really worry about any other defensive assignments.
Kennett nowhere to go with it. And now here's Hammond. He may have been spoiling his teammates a little bit the last few games just with his one-on-one intensity and able to create his own shots like he does there. Unfortunately for Prairie Central, they haven't gone in this afternoon. Stripped away. It was Haven Hicks with the steal, and now a jump ball, and it'll be Pinckneyville ball.
But again,
alternating possession.
That shot by Casey Hammond, he's trying to shoot it up over the top Bowersax at 6'5" and long arms, really jumps well off the floor, really forced him to alter his shot. And right now he's 1 out of 6 in the ballgame.
He's hit all kinds of twisting, turning shots in the postseason, but that fall-away jumper over that taller player has given him problems here today.
Well, and usually he's being guarded by a smaller guard by the opponent defensively.
Nice passing inside, and that's Kyle Smith with a layup. And it was Majewski with the pass.
Majewski does a great job down there on the block of distributing the ball to the cutter inside, and that time it was Smith who got the benefit of his cut to the basket.
Smith almost comes up with a steal there. Kinnett takes it to the hole, and he's fouled. Haven Hicks will be whistled for the block. That's his second.
And that's another way you can get your offense going too, is just getting to the basket. That was one thing we noted in the first half, was they were 8 for 12 from the line, Prairie Central was, and that generates some offense for them. Again, they're going to be successful if they take the ball to the bucket.
Hammond to inbound, can't find anybody. Hobb has to fight for it, and Fisher was there with the defense, and the Hawks turn it over.
And nobody was coming to the ball. That's the biggest argument I have when you take the ball out of bounds underneath the basket. You have somebody, got to have somebody coming to the ball.
Turnover number 9 for the Hawks. 2 already in the first minute and a half of the third quarter. Almost a steal by Kinnett, and then he'll be whistled for the foul as he ran into Tim Bowersax.
And that's a matchup that Pinckneyville wants to take advantage of. They got Bowersax going inside at 6'5" against Kinnett. Even though Kinnett is 6 foot and 220 pounds, big strong body, that 5 inches he's given up is a big disadvantage.
Second foul on Kinnett. That's a 3-point attempt, and Majewski's shot was off the mark. He gets the rebound, though. Cross-court pass. Reedy got a hand on it. That's Hicks. He gets it back, the long rebound. And now they swing it around. That's Smith. Kyle Smith for 3, 38% three-point shooter. And he's got all five of Pinckneyville's points here in the second half.
And one of the things that Coach Korn touched on going into the halftime was they've taken too many three-point shots. That time they were 1 out of 2 on that possession.
And Tom Posey has to call timeout as his team trails by 12 with 6:05 left in the third.
He wants to make sure defensively they get after it here in the second half. They can't afford to get behind by many more points. This Pinckneyville team is very capable of blowing this wide open if they don't settle down right now.
Pinckneyville won the Carbondale and Benton tournaments, and that's a good omen for Pinckneyville, same as the '94 state championship team.
And again, that Carbondale team's a AA team, so and that was a loss that they avenged from earlier in the season. So they are very capable and have the size and the bodies to compete not only in this state tournament but against some of the AA teams.
Dick Korn's state championship coming against Eureka back in '94. Hammond, bad pass. Hobbs zigged when he should have zagged, but they say Pinckneyville touched it, and it'll be Prairie Central ball.
Yeah, a little dissension going on right now on this Prairie Central team as they're struggling to get the ball in bounds, but the defensive effort that Pinckneyville has picked it up right now has caused some of these turnovers.
And now they straighten it out, and it will be Pinckneyville ball. I didn't think anybody touched it.
No, I think there's some of the confusion there as if the ball had been touched before it went out of bounds, but it'll go back underneath the basket in that situation.
Inside, Majewski puts it on the floor, on the glass, bounces it in good, and he'll go to the line for the three-point play.
Big, strong upper body that time by Majewski. Was able to draw the contact and still get the ball up at the basket. Watch him with his left shoulder here. Gets it in between him and the defender. Draws the arm contact, lays it up, gets the nice little soft rolling in. Now go to the line for the three-point opportunity.
Foul was on Chris Kinnett, his third. Free throw, no good. It's a 14-point Pinckneyville lead, their biggest. A 7-0 run here to start the third quarter. Hobb works, double teamed and blocked by Majewski. Here comes Pinckneyville the other way. Hicks off the glass, no good. Panther fans wanted a foul. And they get one, but not the one they wanted.
That was one of the first transition opportunities that Pinckneyville had, and they just weren't able to knock that shot down as Haven Hicks went up, anticipated the contact instead of worrying about getting the ball in the basket.
Josh Fisher whistled for his second personal. Second team foul here in the third quarter. Tom Posey says run special. And the Hawks find themselves in the same spot they were in a year ago, down 14 in the quarterfinal game, trying to come back here in Peoria.
And Majewski's blocked the shot the last 2 times down the floor, and he was just watching Casey Hammond as he drove around on Tim Bowersax. As soon as he went up for the shot, he was there to swat it away.
5 blocked shots in this game for Pinckneyville. Here's Reedy. He pulls it out and hits, and he's in double figures with 10.
Another big shot by the sophomore. He's been able to get some offense going out on the perimeter.
Whistle on the drive goes against Prairie Central.
That'll be on Chris Kinnan. It'll be his 4th foul.
And that basket by Reedy was the first in 3 minutes here in the third quarter for Prairie Central. Not a good start for them.
No, and they've still, Casey Hammond's only gotten 2 shots. One of those has been blocked, and the other one was altered, so he's really struggling to get off offensively.
Landon Young comes in for Kinnan, who sits with 4 personals. Whistle inside, a lot of contact.
Good backdoor cut that time by Smith. Nathan Hobb really goes up and hammers him, and he's beaten on the play. 4 fouls on Nathan Hobb as well. It's really starting to slip away right now for Prairie Central with 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
It's Kyle Smith at the line, 74% free thrower. He's a senior. Makes the first one. And now in for Prairie Central is number 32, Brad Fry, back into the game.
I was overhearing Coach Tom Posey's setting Fry into the ball game. Let's try to get this back within 10 by the end of the quarter. That's 5 minutes to go. They're now down by 14.
Smith has 7 of the 9 points here in the third quarter for Pinckneyville, and they lead at 41-27. Back with more after this local break.
With 2 points. This Illinois High School Association basketball tournament is being brought to you by your friends and neighbors at Illinois Bell Telephone.
Yeah, back in the good old days. And now the Prairie Central crowd trying to get their team going. They trail by 14 here with 5:01 left, third quarter.
Pinckneyville right now is just showing their strength. More so on the defensive end is really generating some offense for them. But Prairie Central is getting frustrated. Now they got 2 of their starters with 4 fouls.
Nathan Hobb, Chris Kinnan, both on the Prairie Central bench. As we continue action here in the third quarter. 14-point lead has been Pinckneyville's biggest. They try and get it inside Reedy, and Hicks is there for the pick. Here's Majewski. Gives it up and turns it over.
Majewski should have held on to that one. He had a clean lane to the basket.
Winiger's 3 is no good. Majewski will cross-court it. Inside to Hicks, lefty, up and good. That's his first basket from inside the 3-point arc. He's got 11.
Strong inside again to get the ball inside the lane when they receive it instead of outside and off the block. It's too easy right now offensively, and Prairie Central needs to pick it up.
Hammond tries the three. Reedy gets the rebound. Hammond just has no room to work today. And now a steal by Bauer Sachs.
That was the first time I'd seen Bauer Sachs help out defensively in this whole ball game. And what does he come up with? A steal. Just a great performance here by Tim Bauer Sachs.
And he's been the defensive stopper for Pinckneyville in the past. Reedy almost got a piece of that. Maybe he did. He gets the rebound on the Fisher miss. But Dick Korn says his team's gotten so much better defensively that he doesn't have to put Bauer Sachs on the best guy. But he has today, and it's worked. And now an offensive foul, and Hammond's clearly frustrated.
Yeah, the first time he's gotten Tim Bauer Sachs off of him, and then he still picks the charge. So frustrating performance, still only with 4 points in the ball game. They haven't done enough screening for him, either away from the ball or on the ball, and that's really been the reason why Bauer Sachs has been able to stay with him the entire ball game.
It's an 11-2 run to start the third here. Prairie Central, as we mentioned earlier, lost to Bureau Valley in the quarterfinals a year ago. Bureau Valley playing in tonight's last quarterfinal game at 8:15 against Macomb.
That game they were able to come back from a double-digit deficit as well, and this time they're down now 16 with about 3 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
Oh, offensive foul against Bauer Sachs. I thought they had Winiger on the reach, but they called Bauer Sachs for an offensive foul.
Well, let's watch this, see if Bauer Sachs gets into Casey Hammond, actually trying to guard him down there. Boy, I didn't see that. It seemed like they were all over him on the post, but they're not giving that guy with 5-inch advantage down there on the block any more credit than he's already got.
Prairie Central tries to take advantage, down 16. Hammond finally got loose.
Yeah, good call by the official.
It'll be a foul on Pinckneyville on the screen. It's on Bauer Sachs, so he picks up 2 in a hurry.
Now, the first time they really set a screen on Bauer Sachs, that time Winiger set a screen on him. Bauer Sachs was so surprised by it that he ran right over the defender.
And Hammond hit the J, by the way.
No good.
No good. Didn't count, but it was a good play. They'll see if they can't get that figured out again. He pulls up for 3, and that's a good-looking shot there. It's been a while. He hasn't scored since the first quarter.
And even though that last shot that he took didn't count because of the foul on the screen, at least that may have gotten him going offensively. That time he had a little more confidence when he got the ball again. He was able to knock down the shot.
A mulligan.
There you go.
He got a little mulligan there.
What's that?
It's rare that you hit 2 good mulligans, though. Hammond the rebound. That ended a 2.5-minute scoreless streak. That 3 was only the second bucket of the third quarter for Prairie Central. Reedy can't make it 3.
And Reedy was 1 out of 10 just coming into the ball game from 3-point range. Already hit 1 this game. That time came up short.
And Winiger gets the rebound, and it's going to be an over-the-back call on McConaughey of Pinckneyville.
Starting to sense a little bit of momentum shift here right now, and Prairie Central starting to get a little confidence. They can get Casey Hammond to put a string of buckets together. They'll be right back in this ball game. As I said, Coach Tom Posey, one of his objectives was to get within 10 by the end of the third quarter. They're down 13.
Plenty of time left here. We're under 2 minutes. There's the foul trouble. Hobb and Kinnett both on the bench, and Bauer Sachs blocks Hammond's 3-point attempt, but Winiger comes up with it. Reedy will try just inside the arc and good. And here come the Hawks. Reedy leading the way with 12.
Yeah, Winiger did a good job of seeing the block shot by Bauer Sachs, and was able to come up with it and get a second shot opportunity that Reedy was able to knock down.
Now Pinckneyville's gone 2.5 minutes without a bucket. Double team. Reedy almost comes up with the steal. Jump ball. Alternating possession will go to Prairie Central. Good hustle on defense, and that's one of the first times I've noticed a double team defensively down low.
Well, and that may have been something they changed at halftime too, because Bauer Sachs has not scored here in the second half. He got the ball on the block, and immediately Reedy was able to come over and help out from the weak side and strip the ball away and come up with a possession back to Prairie Central.
An 11-point ball game. There's the Prairie Central crowd. Somewhere in that crowd is Casey's older brother Chad, who was a star player for Tom Posey back in '96. Inside, Reedy. Strong move by the sophomore. He's got 14.
Good penetration that time. Dropped down to Reedy. Was able to get the ball away from Bauer Sachs, avoid a block shot, knock it in. They're down by 9 with a minute to play.
7-0 run here. Oh, and a block from behind by Reedy.
The intensity is definitely picked up on the Prairie Central side. Even though Reedy was beaten on the play, he's able to recover and get his hands on the ball. Watch him come from behind. Nice little right hand, right on top of the ball, blocked out of bounds.
6'3", 180. He can move a little bit. Under a minute to go now, third quarter. Tom Posey wanted the lead, cut to 10. It's 9 right now. Pinckneyville goes inside. And it'll be the whistle against the Hawks down low as my Bauer Sachs brother got loose inside.
Yeah, immediately 3 defenders were on Bauer Sachs as he got the ball, but again, he catches the ball right underneath the basket. Casey Hammond's out there saying he had his hands straight up, as you can see right there, motioning to the officials. But what they didn't see was underneath, he had a little bump on him with his leg.
Prairie Central still trailing in blocks. Pinckneyville's been able to get a bunch of those as the Hawks try to drive on the interior. 3 fouls on Hammond now. Prairie Central bench wanted a 3-second call. 35 seconds to go here in the third. This is Smith with it. He's a senior. So is Fisher.
Pinckneyville playing for one shot here. Would be comfortable to go into the fourth quarter with a 9-point lead with the chance to extend it to even 11 or 12.
They'll probably attack the basket with about 7 or 8 seconds left. Or with 10. Well, there was 8 seconds left after he made it. Fisher with the bucket.
Well, really taking their time up the floor is Prairie Central.
Winiger for 3 is no good. He hit 12 threes last night in the preliminaries of the three-point shooting, but he hasn't hit one here today. Network break coming your way. 45-34 our score.
Tournament, but to win it. They have the basketball. They have the lead of 52-51. 15 seconds remain. And we should know very shortly who will be state champion for 63.
Oh, they stopped it too soon. That was a game-winning shot there as Centralia turned it over.
They're just teasing us. I think it'll be back. Great crowd here in the first game.
The Pleasant Plains band, Steve Thorne, the band director, and their team was upset. They were supposed to be here. #1 team, defending state champs, and they got beat by Macomb in the super sectional.
Yeah, Dusty Bensko, the 2-sport star for Pleasant Plains, wasn't able to get back down here for the second straight year.
Eight minutes left, and it's 11-point Pinckneyville lead.
Now for the fourth quarter, we got C.J. Reedy guarding Bauer Sachs, and the steal for Prairie Central to start the fourth quarter defensively.
If I'm not mistaken, that was 1963 that vignette was from, and Carver got the steal, and a seldom used player came up with the steal and hit the game-winning shot for Chicago Carver over Centralia. We'll take a look at it again. That's on the March Madness tape. I was just watching that again last night. And inside to Tim Bauer Sachs, who didn't score in the third quarter. He's
First
got
transition
15.
bucket, too, by Pinckneyville. That's something that Prairie Central has done a good job of keeping under control. In the third quarter, they broke away a couple of times, didn't come up with a bucket. That time, nice pass by Haven Hicks to Bauer Sachs.
Almost stole by Majewski, and he tipped it away to Hicks.
And away they go again.
Hicks pulls up at the elbow, just short. It's a 13-point deficit for Prairie Central.
Prairie Central starting to wear down a little bit. 2 starters in foul trouble, and the rest of the team really struggling right now.
Reedy short. They trailed by 7 at the half. And Pinckneyville extended that to 11 after 3, even though Prairie Central played better, I thought, in the third quarter.
They did, but even with that that rush that Prairie Central put on, Pinckneyville was still able to maintain the good advantage with a 9-point lead going into the fourth quarter.
9 turnovers now for Pinckneyville, and Tom Posey is running out of time.
Actually, there's still 11 now. They've extended it back to 13. We talked about that 60-point mark for Prairie Central to start the ball game. Right now, Pinckneyville only 13 points away from that. Prairie Central only with 34 points. As Casey Hammond really hasn't gotten going offensively, even though he hit that last 3-point shot. Now it was 7 points.
He's 2 for 11 now. And here's Pinckneyville ahead to Haven Hicks with the bomb. Touchdown. You got it.
Good catch that time by Haven Hicks. As the defender was flying by him, he was able to keep his eye on the ball, catch it, and still realize he had plenty of time to get to the bucket.
Hicks has 13. And Hammond gets, or that's Winiger rather, inside. His first basket of the afternoon.
Good penetration again that time by Prairie Central. And that's where they've been successful here in the second half, just haven't done it enough.
Majewski thought about it. Now Bowersax inside, off the glass, and a foul. I believe that's going to be 5 on Chris Kennett.
I believe it is. Winiger that time trying to guard him. Winiger only at 5'9" down low. Trying to guard Bowersax. He really has a big advantage.
This is going to be a good one coming up next. Westmont with Pierre Pierce, the Iowa-bound senior who averages 35 points a game, taking on Columbia out of the St. Louis area. That's going to be a good ball game coming up next. And it looks like the winner of that one just might play Pinckneyville tomorrow in the first semifinal.
Stay tuned for that ball game. Pierre Pierce is quite a player, but I tell you what, Westmont is probably the only team down here that has a one-player show, whereas the rest of the teams are more balanced. And they would probably argue that that's not the case, but clearly averaging 35 points a game, about half his team's points, he's their go-to guy.
They've got a lot of guys that accept their roles on that team, and they've played together since about 6th grade. Bowersax 1 of 2. He's got 16. And the Hawks try to find a way to get back in this one, but the time is dwindling on them. Hicks whistled for the foul on the ball, his 3rd.
The Hawks are being hawked on defense is what it's come down here. This Pinckneyville team has done a great job defensively. We talked about the number of points they can put up the ball on the board, but that 28-point disparity between what they're scoring and giving up is really created from their defense.
Reedy, a nice job to get the inbounds pass, but couldn't make either layup. Here comes Pinckneyville the other end. That's Kyle Smith, rather. He's got 9.
And they've really got that transition game going here in the second half.
Hammond doing everything he can, but it's not enough against Pinckneyville. Majewski missed the layup at the other end, and it'll be Panther ball out of bounds.
Good hustle, good effort that time by Casey Hammond, even though he was stripped of the ball at the offensive end, stayed with it, was able to come down and hit the ball out of bounds so that Pinckneyville didn't get an easy shot.
Hobb got a hand on it, but Majewski gets it back. Winiger reaches in, and now they wrestle for the ball. Winiger will be whistled for the foul on the reach.
Winiger a little outmatched, but he's a tough kid. I remember last year he had a great effort for this Prairie Central team. Majewski, a big kid inside, was able to hang on to the ball and draw the foul.
And that's part of the maturation process too of this Prairie Central team. Why they're here today. Tom Posey has said he's used more starting lineups. He's had some disciplinary problems. Some guys have been suspended, but they got some technicals over the course of the year. But able to control their emotions here, if not the game, as they trail 52-36 with 5:03 left.
Pass into Williams. Tries to slap it away. The ball is stolen by Smedley. He shoots. He scores! 7 seconds. Timeout, Centralia. Good Lord.
That was 1963. Now, the reason I can't remember the guy's name that hit the shot, I wasn't born yet, okay? Neither were you.
That was close.
Smedley's his last name. That was the first year that Anthony Smedley hit the shot, we're told, and that was the first year the state tournament was played in the Assembly Hall. And I believe might be the first Chicago winner in the state tournament. Way back when. That goes back a few years, and the African-American team back in the
two teams as they broke for the timeout, but good timeout to get them settled back down for this 5-minute stretch run for the fourth quarter.
Cody Majewski, 1 of 2, 53-36. And
it's really not the Prairie Central's game as in transition, but right now they're really willing to try anything down by 17.
And Tom Posey's going to make the substitution. He'll send Harry Pick back in.
11, Harry Pick replaces
Nick Winiger. Winiger will hang around. He's in the three-point shootout tomorrow here at Carver Arena. Under 5 minutes to go now. Pinckneyville with the commanding lead. And this is a team, Matt, that lost a couple of players before the year started. The 6'5" senior Dan Robinson moved to Coulterville. Gideon Hutchcraft been out, missed the year after a severe football injury. And they played mostly 5 guys most of the year.
Well, they've had their run-ins too with adversity, with Majewski starting the year on a football injury. Bowersack's mother passed away early in the year as well.
Bowersack scores. He's slow to get up. Count the basket. Fouls on Hammond, his fourth.
Big strong move inside again by Bowersack. He's drawn a lot of attention in there. That time Casey Hammonds really nails him in the side of the head as he's trying to get to the ball. Nothing intentional, I'm sure. Bowersack does a good job of going up strong with the ball, gets it off, and was able to get the ball in the basket. He'll go to the line for a one-shot opportunity. If you can see on Bowersack's jersey right there, you see the black stripe. That's in honor of his mother who passed away earlier in the year. And again, the team really rallied around him, and that's a tough situation for a kid his age.
His mother, Debbie, battled breast cancer for 2 years and died in early February. Tim says his mother would want him to, she loved watching him play ball, and she would have enjoyed this performance here today. Missed free throw, Pinckneyville comes up with it. They lead by 19. A frustrated Chris Kinnett on the bench, senior, fouling out of his last game of his career.
2 free throws remainder in the contest.
Fouls on Landon Young, and it sends Josh Fisher to the line, 75% free thrower. Only 6 points a game, but he can get in double digits if he makes this second free throw.
This game's really come down to this matchup between Hammonds and Bowersack. And Bowersack's really, with his size advantage over Hammond, has really taken control of the ball game in the first half, really got him in a big lead, and has done what he needed to do, especially defensively here in the second half.
And a push inside. Goes on Landon Young, his second. And here's our Midwest Dairy Association local dairy farmer scholar athlete, Jason Myers of Prairie Central. Fourth in his class, headed to the University of Illinois in pre-med, active in 4-H. Congratulations to Jason. Free throw up and good by Haven Hicks. And it's been all Pinckneyville here in the fourth quarter. 14-2.
Three-point shot by Landon Young.
Comes up and
he's giving a little bit of lift off the bench here in the second half.
Young heard me speaking about that.
Now still a 20-point deficit with about 4 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Prairie Central's really trying to come up with a steal and being pretty aggressive here defensively.
Pinckneyville doing a nice job playing keep away here. And that's always the tough thing. You know, 8 teams come here and only 4 of them can play tomorrow. Let's look at some of the folks along the IHSA TV network. The IHSA taking over control of the TV this year, and we're glad to see that. And some look at the cable stations down the line. Welcome to all of you today. Hope you're enjoying it. Thanks for being a part of the IHSA TV network this year. 61-39, and it's all over but the shouting here, as they used to say. Hobb tries the 3. And Hobb fouls out.
Hobb just immediately walks to the bench. He knew that was his 5th. You know, it's frustrating to see some of these guys from Prairie Central have been together for so many years. Hobb and Kennett, Casey Hammond, Winiger. They've been playing with each other for 6 years now, and it's frustrating to see it end like this.
A lot of teams would trade spots with him, man. They'll have to just fit here. And Nathan Hobb gets a consoling word from his coach. And some substitutions as Dick Korn goes to his bench. Michael McConaughey back in, number 44. Darren McCombs into the ball game. He's a senior. Number 24, Nolan Kellerman into the ball game for Kyle Smith. Haven Hicks comes out after a good ball game. 14 for him. He's replaced by Shane Hoffman. Some of the guys that work so hard in practice day in and day out and don't get the recognition, getting a little quality time here on the floor at Carver Arena.
You know, it was neat last night at that banquet when Doug Collins actually asked some of the guys who don't get to play much to raise their hand. And he said, you're just as much a part of this and just as important to this team being down here as the starters on this team. And that's true. I mean, these guys work hard every day and get the team prepared. And it's great to see some of them in this ball game here at the state tournament.
Speaking as a former bench warmer, I can say you're right.
And it was interesting to hear Doug Collins say as well, when he was a junior at Penn, he only averaged 2 points a ball game and sat on the bench.
Yeah, he was a 6'2" guard when he went to Illinois State.
6'3", about 160 pounds, and actually added about 3 inches and about 30 pounds his first year at Illinois State University.
Casey Hammond gets a nice hand. Struggled today, 7 points. 2 for 11 from the field, but what a job he has done to get this team in. You really have to look at him as the key component to get this team to the Elite 8 this year.
Oh, without a doubt. We talked about him stepping it up in the post-game series, or the tournament series, a 21-point average.
How about what Tim Bowersax has done for Pinckneyville today? 18 points.
That's actually a picture of Haven Hicks, though, but Tim Bowersax led him with 18 points, 8 out of 13 in the field goal department and 5 rebounds. Coming into the game with a 26-point or 24-point effort in the super section.
Haven Hicks will be accepting the award for.
Haven Hicks had an outstanding ball game as well, with 17 points.
Our player of the game brought to us by Country Insurance, I believe. 62% from the floor today for Bowersax, and this guy's done a whale of a job. 26 years in Pinckneyville, 21 wins a year.
Quality coach, and you know, to see the longevity of a coach like that, you can see why they've had a successful program, and it really all starts on the defensive end, and that's what they've accomplished today.
Winiger makes the free throw. Bounce the second one in, and Pinckneyville will have a chance to get a couple more guys in the scorebook here.
I'm guessing it's going to come from the free throw line, however.
Coming up tonight, a couple of good ones. Pana, another group of Panthers taking on Farmington from just down the road here in Peoria. Our coverage will get underway at 6:30, followed by Macomb and Bureau Valley. Bureau Valley making a return trip to state. They eliminated Prairie Central a year ago.
Bureau Valley, again, one of the favorites down here. There aren't too many ranked teams left, but that shows you the competitiveness and the parity in these Class A schools.
Bureau Valley ranked 2nd. Westmont plays the next game. They're ranked 3rd. Pinckneyville ranked 11th coming into the postseason.
Pretty strong number 11, that's for sure.
Macomb and Pana, the other ranked teams, still alive. Pleasant Plains, we mentioned, upset. And good work on the boards that time by Henry Handler, a junior for Prairie Central. He'll go to the line.
Well, the officials letting him play down the stretch here, not wanting to call a lot of unnecessary fouls, but good effort that time. He's rewarded to go to the line.
Yeah, there's Dr. Tom Corey, my dad's doctor. Hi, Doc. His brother Steve is one of the guys who helped bring March Madness to Peoria 6 years ago. There's Scott McGuire, number 3. He's a junior. Tom Posey going to his bench to get some guys into a state tournament, something they'll never forget. And Tom Posey calls timeout. 2:09 left in this one. Back with the final after this network break. Lee Hall, Matt Taphorn back at Carver Arena. First Sweet 16 appearance for Pinckneyville back in 1935 with Coach Al Kish. State champs in 48, state champs in 94. They were 3rd, 47, 53, 54, 55. Went to the Elite Eight in 52. 2nd in 88, and they lost to the Pana Panthers.
Yes, they did.
We could conceivably have a rematch of that game if things work out right.
A lot of basketball to be played before that happens.
Yep, you bet. And that's Jason Myers, number 12, showing his soccer skills out there. Number 12 with the boot.
It's our Scholar Athlete Award winner right there, going to the University of Illinois.
2 minutes. 2 minutes remaining.
Coach Tom Posey not giving up the coaching responsibilities over on the sideline, really working with his players out there on the floor and keeping them in the ball game. They deserve just as much effort.
Nolan Kellerman steals, lays it up and good, and he'll go to the line for the 3-point play. Nolan Kellerman's a 5'10" senior. Here's another look.
This is an opportunity these kids won't ever forget, and Kellerman takes it down, lays it up, gets the foul. But for a senior to get to play in an environment like this, as well as all the players, and typically you'll see this in the state tournament, is these guys at least get an opportunity to get out on the floor, and something they'll remember forever.
You bet. Kellerman for the 3-point play. Up and bounces and good. And he got his mark in the scorebook, so Cody Majewski comes into the ball game.
See Nathan Hobb, the senior there, on the dejected Prairie Central bench. It's always tough to come down here and lose in the first round.
Sorry, Jordan Sutton, I was going to say. Jordan Sutton's number 52, a junior. Tomorrow here on the IHSA Network, semifinal games at 11:15 and 12:45. Championship tomorrow night at 8:15.
This Pinckneyville team will be in that 11-15 ball game first of all,
against the Westmont Columbia winner. That game comes your way next. Three-point attempt is in and out for Jake McWhorter, rather.
Put a fork in that ball.
Make sure we mention everybody's name that's getting out there and getting a little PT today. Trevin McCullough, number 22 in. McCullough comes in and puts it up. Don't be bashful out there now. It's personal stats time. Now fouls against Prairie Central. I think they get Harry Pick. Yeah, they do. They played a little bit earlier in the game.
Actually getting some clean looks at the basket now that Bauer Sachs and his group is over on the bench.
There's Tim Bauer Sachs.
Player of the game with 18 points. Great effort, probably more so from the defensive end, really made the difference in this ball game, and his effort on Casey Hammond, limiting him to 2 for 11 from the field and only 7 points.
Jordan Sutton makes the free throw.
Is that a grin over there by Coach Korn? I think it was. I think he's actually relaxing. He's grinning over there. Relaxing with his 27-point lead here with under a minute to play.
Lounging.
They're right on their averages for the year. They've averaged 69 points a game and allowed their opponents only 41. Yeah, go ahead. Only 41 points a game, so they're right on their averages.
Chris Lehman, number 42, checks in with Matt Taphorn. Gets the okay to go into the ball game.
Now those are the guys that don't play much when they come to the TV announcers to say they're going in.
I wasn't sure he was going to take his warm-up off. Who was it I saw in a game a couple of years ago that took his warm-up off and didn't have a uniform on? He was wearing a T-shirt. Had to go back to the bench.
Yeah. Those are the guys that don't expect to play very much.
It was a college game or an NBA game. It's pretty funny. Of course, not much is amusing to these guys right now. And your heart goes out to them. They'll finish 23-8, a great run in the postseason to make it to Peoria for the 2nd straight year. Hard to have perspective when you're 17 or 18 and you're getting a little bit of a whooping.
Well, it's one of those life lessons that Doug Collins talked about last night as well. Is sometimes you have to experience defeat to learn, and those are some of the hardest lessons, but some of the things that really make you be a better person in the long run.
Nice pass inside. Danny Seifert scores. And here's another 3 attempt for Trevin McCullough. It was no good, and a jump ball, and we've got 15 seconds to play here.
These guys are playing just as hard as the starting unit did when they were in there, and they're trying to take advantage of every moment that they're in the ball game here on the state tournament floor.
Some of the folks who've made the drive up from Pinckneyville, they will now assured of taking home a big trophy. We'll bring it up. That's Zach Campbell. And a 3-point attempt, air ball, almost an alley-oop for John Hicks. It's a win for Dick Korn and the Pinckneyville Panthers, and they move on to the semifinal game tomorrow, 11:15, where they'll take on the winner of Westmont and Columbia, 71-44 the final.
Great effort by both teams. I think the size advantage that Pinckneyville had just wore down the smaller Prairie Central Hawks. And a great effort by Tim Bauer Sachs as well.
Congratulations to Prairie Central on a great season, 23-8, great run through the state tournament to get here. Tom Posey, congratulations to him, and he talks to Tim Bauer Sachs, who played an outstanding game, 18 points for Bauer Sachs to lead the way. Haven Hicks had 17, and Josh Fisher had 12, also in double digits. Let's go to Kurt Pegler and the winning coach. Kurt.
All right, guys, a very impressive performance by the Pinckneyville Panthers. We have Tim Bauer Sachs and head coach Dick Korn with us. Let's start with the the senior. They held you scoreless in the third quarter, but then you came back in the fourth quarter, a couple of big baskets. You finished with 18, and you put it away early.
Yeah, we just tried to get the ball down inside, and we knew we had some mismatches, and if we could continue to attack the basket, things would go our way, and we'd finally get the rhythm going and get ahead.
Seemed like the matchup that everybody was waiting for was you against Casey Hammond. You won that battle, and your team ultimately won the war.
Yeah, I just tried to deny the ball, don't let him catch, and if he has to catch it outside of his range, and I think I did a good job of that. Play off of him if he catches it out of his range, play him as a driver. As long as I kept him, I thought I kept him down, we'd have a good chance to win.
And your defense was outstanding for the most part today.
Yeah, our team as a whole, we play really good defense. We rely on that a lot, and we did a pretty good job, stepped up, and we knew if we came to compete and play good defense, we'd be all right.
All right, congratulations to Bowersox with 18 points. Meanwhile, Dick Horn, your team is in the semifinals. We talked at halftime, you thought you had to stop fouling and sending those guys to the free throw line. They didn't get to the foul line in the second half, and you're moving on.
Well, our defense was pretty good. Once we quit helping uphill and just played good fundamental defense, some good things happened. We got some runouts in the second half, and that was the result of a couple things. Probably the defense a little bit, but they fell behind and rushed some shots, and then we were able to get some runouts, and that's what makes it easy if you can get those kind of buckets.
Yeah, it was a 7-point lead at halftime, and then you scored the first 7 points of the third quarter, and it seemed like they were trying to catch up the rest of the night.
Yeah, they made a run at us at the end of the third quarter, and a point of emphasis was for us to win the third quarter, and even though they closed the gap a little bit, we won the third quarter, and then we started off well the fourth, and you know, the ball game was, after the first 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, it was pretty well decided.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much.
All right, Dick Horn, the head coach of the Pinckneyville Panthers. They're in the semifinals. They're the first team to advance to tomorrow. Lee?
Pegs, thanks a lot. 71-44, our final. Pinckneyville advances. They are now 29-4, and they'll play in tomorrow's semifinal at 11:15. Coming up next, it's Westmont against Columbia, coming your way after these breaks.